First of all, women don't hit a wall. Sorry. It doesn't. It's not a thing.
Can I just say something real quick? I hate when men act like the older a woman gets, the less value she has.
What one man will not do for you, another man will.
No, he won't.
Stop chasing after a man that's not making you a priority.
By the year 2030, about 45% of women between the ages of 25 to 44 are going to be single.
As an extremely independent woman that loves to make her own money, I still think men should pay on the first date, and this is why.
Guys, I'm this close to giving up on dating.
I don't date. And it's purely for the reason that I am exhausted.
I am done with all of these games. I'm done with men. Why is it so hard to find your person?
God, am I lonely sometimes.
I had a man say to me once that the reason that he likes dating younger women is because they're not so angry. Literally was like, I like younger women because they're still so sweet. Like, yeah, babe, it's a lack of experience with your literal gender.
Can you imagine somebody saying, hey, I don't want to be around you because you're straight up mean, and then you still say, I've got a little bit left in the tank. What an idiot.
They don't know yet. Nobody likes an angry woman, right? It's okay to be a little angry, though.
Okay, y'all. True story. Single in San Antonio. I'm at Lowe's. I'm about to walk in and get a replacement for my guest bathroom toilet. Who's going to come rescue me? I want to be rescued. I've spent the first 40 years of my life refusing to be rescued.
And you about to spend the next 40 of your 40. And you're about to spend the next 40 years of your life not being rescued. You start out stupid, you're going to end stupid.
I'm over it. Come rescue me. Come save me. I'm officially a damsel in distress. I need my yard mowed. I need my toilet fixed. And I need some other things done around my house. Help? I don't want to do it anymore. I'm tired. I'm tired. So if you are a single man who can pass a background check, you have a pulse, you're employed, and you don't live with your mama, come help me, okay? I need your help. I don't want to do it anymore.
Being single in your 50s, is it that you still remember how great it felt to fall in love and think about getting married and having kids? Is it that we have had so many bad experiences?
Not in your 50s, though. Living in the past.
In a marriage that we're now divorced and we don't want to repeat them? What is it? What makes this so hard? We are all looking for the same thing. We all want to be happy, at peace, and possibly have somebody to share it with. Why is this so hard?
I think the scary part, specifically with when you're a woman, is that you're kind of told by society in all these ways that as you get older, you lose your value. And that's because a ton of our value is placed on physical appearance, which of course, as society likes to tell us, declines as you're aging. But men get to be these salt and pepper zaddies, and they get to show all their wrinkles, and they get to look rough on magazine covers, and women just get more and more photoshopped.
Well, it's because that's what women want. That's why the market is driven like that, because that's what women want. I want to look young. I want to discover the fountain of youth. That's what they want. Yeah, sure, a man would like an attractive woman. Let's put it at half the equation. Obviously, a man wants that. Obviously, a man loves that. But you guys are putting undue stress, undue pressure on yourself to maintain these standards that men are like, hey, you could just go gray. No, I gotta dye my hair. No, you don't have to wear that much makeup. No, I gotta wear pounds and pounds of makeup. No, you don't. Why are you doing that? And you continue down this vicious cycle where you actually place value in the way that you look, which great, good for you for doing that. But to go over the top, which most women do, that's a you problem and that's not a man problem.
I learned so much from this app. And today I learned that women expire at 25.
Dang.
I've been expired for 9 years already. What am I going to do? I mean, I don't even have a burial plot yet. At least I have the cats.
Okay, first of all, women don't hit a wall. Sorry. it's not a thing. If any man tells you that a woman hits a wall, that is not a man you need to be dealing with.
Well, scientifically speaking, women do hit a wall. And obviously, to throw men in there, since y'all like to do this, at some point in time, yes, men do hit the wall. We're talking about, in terms of reproduction, they're going to hit the wall, right? So I think what men are trying to tell you is, before you place all of your eggs in one basket, the basket being your beauty, why don't you try to develop other parts of your personality that somebody can actually stand, that somebody actually wants to be around? So when your looks fade, the man sees you as you were in your younger years. It's like, man, she just gets more beautiful every single day. He's not necessarily talking about your looks all the time, but he's talking about who you are as a person. Yeah, she's got little wrinkles, man. She's got a little bit more weight on her than when I first met her and we first got together. But yeah, man, she's still beautiful to me, mother of my kids. I'm loving life, doing life with her, and you know, I wouldn't trade it for the world. That's what you want your men to say. But when you put your eggs in one basket and you only have that beauty that you carry around for 34, 35 years, and then that's all you have, and a man's like, you're actually very rude, you're actually very mean. You figure out, oh shoot, maybe I do need to get therapy. I do need to develop myself a little bit more than I am right now. So I'm just saying, you do what you want, and you can say what doesn't and what does exist. But at the end of the day, when you don't have a man, you can come back right back to this video right here and say, man, I said some stupid stuff back then. In 2024, I was letting some stupid stuff fly out my mouth. And now look at me. I'm suffering because of it.
Women don't hit walls. Women always have value. Women actually increase in value in a lot of ways. So anyone who tells you that women have hit a wall, not a thing.
In your early 20s, listen to this. We need to have a little chit chat. Hi, 27-year-old older sister here. 27. I want to let you know your life doesn't end at 27, at 28, at 30. You're not going to start getting wrinkles. Your metabolism is not going to change.
I mean, your life doesn't end, but maybe your prospects of marriage and finding somebody begin to dwindle if you're a jerk at the older you get. That's all I'm saying.
You're not going to start feeling feral, like you need to have a family or get married. You are going to feel the exact same in your late 20s and in your 30s as you do right now. You are not on borrowed time, dude. You're fine. You're still going to...
Like my dad tells me all the time, you just keep living. You just keep living. You're going to think that you still got it. And then one day you're going to wake up out of bed. You're going to try to get up. You're going to try to get up like you do at other times. And your body don't work like it used to. I used to be an athlete. I used to be able to just jump out of bed. And now you're creaking and you got to get momentum and you got to roll out of bed and all that other stuff. That's a sign of your body getting older. And guess what? The way you feel inside, you're going to feel probably outside, and you're going to look it too, because that's the natural progression of humans. You got to learn to embrace it. Do what you can to stay healthy. But you talking about nothing changes? Okay, girl.
You're going to be hot in 10 years. You're probably still going to be hot for a lot more than that too.
Can I just say something real quick? I hate when men act like the older a woman gets, the less value she has and the more value that she loses. I feel like society as a whole, right, tries to like make women feel bad about aging, about getting older, right? And the crazy thing is, I feel like women look better with age. I feel like the older we get, the sexier we get, the more of this aura that we give off, because we've already like dealt with like insecurities and, you know, fitting in, all this, where we just don't give a f, and it just comes across like so sexy. So like
To who though? I'm sorry to be a jerk. I'm not trying to. I want to know who. Like who is it coming across that's sexy to? Because not to men. Anyway, I'm sorry. That wasn't called for. My bad.
Powerful. Here's me as a teenager, and here's me now. I feel like I look completely better now than I did as a teenager. That's why I never understood.
Well, right, because like I think around the attractiveness that most men, according to a study that I heard somewhere, I think it was around 22 that men find the peak of attractiveness. You don't look like you're that much older. I mean, obviously, I would hope that you look better now as a teen, because if you didn't, that would be a little bit gross. That would be a little bit weird. So I don't know why you'd be comparing the two photos. I think what men are saying is like, look at you at 22, 23, 24, 25 versus what you would look like at 35, 40, 45, 50, that sort of thing. You don't have to act like you don't understand what's going on here.
The comments like, oh, women expire after a certain age. After a certain age, you don't get catcalled, you don't get this, you don't get that. Like, it's actually insane to me how much better women look as they age, and they just get better and better with time. Like, I can't be the only one who sees it. Like, you're in your 20s, your 30s, like you just start blossoming. You start like coming into your face, into your body. You just look so good. Compared to celebrities, take a look at women around you that you grew up around, and you're gonna see like everybody just looks so much better, so much sexier. That's why I'm really not afraid of aging. I feel like it's just gonna get better with time. What do you guys think? Let me know, because I can't be the only one who thinks this.
I'm 42, and that means half of my life is over.
I'm not okay being single. I don't want to be single, and I get depressed.
As a person who has been single for me personally my whole life.
I'm 53. I'm tired. I'm tired of doing it myself.
I get my feelings hurt. I don't want to be a hookup.
3 failed relationships since my marriage had ended.
And I have really missed kind of having someone to talk to.
Aren't you worried? About what? Oh my God, yeah.
I think the biggest difference between this generation of women and the generation of women that came before us is that we will just be single before we stay in an unhappy marriage. We will just be single before we let a man come into our lives and tell us a thing. We will just be single before we are the only people in our house cooking, cleaning, parenting, etc., etc. We're changing the script because ain't no way.
You should have been and changed the script, and you know how you can change the script? By doing some critical thought, by being the other half of the equation in dating. That means I'm looking for a man in finance, a trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. Okay, you can look for that, but what is that man going to give you besides that? Let's answer those questions. How is this man going to mesh into my family? What kind of dude is he going to be as a father? These are projections that you have to make, that companies have to make. All of you strong, independent women, you do these forecasting and budget cycles for your company. Why not do it for your relationship? We can see that based on these trends and analyze this type of stuff, we're going to make this type of money, or we're going to take a hit. We're going to take a loss, right? We can see green flags, or we can see red flags. Change this, don't do this. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can take that same process and do it in a relationship and do it in a marriage. Okay, based on this person's behavior, based on what I'm hearing, based on what he's telling me, nothing's ever going to be 100%. But based on what I'm hearing from him and based on what I'm seeing from him and how he's acting, I can okay, he's going to do this. Oh, he's not going to do that. Do I want to deal with this? Can I deal with this? Does he fit in over here? What are we going to do over here? And you can do all of these things to see if this is the type of man that you want to go forward, instead of saying, well, he wasn't 6'5", or he didn't make $100,000. Can he make $100,000 based on his behavior, based on what he's doing right now, based on what his goals are? And how can I find out what his goals are? Oh, I know, by talking to him. Oh, I know, by asking critical questions, critical thought questions. But you have to do a little bit more work instead of turning your brain off when you get on a date. Just my opinion.
A man is going to profit off of my unpaid labor for the rest of my life.
The rhetoric that women expire at age 30 is just a way for society to keep us small, because as women go into their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, beyond, we are so powerful. We have stopped putting up with the bull. We are speaking our needs. We are living life on our own terms, and society does not like that because society likes to control women. But here's the thing. At this point in our lives, we have gained life experience, we have gained wisdom, we have the confidence, and honestly, we still look great while doing it, so sorry. I'm turning 30 this month, literally in a couple of weeks, and I couldn't feel better about myself, honestly. And society has made me scared to turn 30 as a woman for my entire life, and now that it's actually coming to it, there's nothing to be afraid of. Actually, I am so excited because I'm stepping into my power, and I have been slowly sort of building up to this point in my 20s, and now that I'm in my 30s, like, I am unbothered, and that's something that society has not told us. All they've told us is that, you know, age 30 is when things start going downhill, and that is just so wrong. It's when things start to go uphill, honestly.
I remember in college, there was so much pressure. You see all the girls going on dates and hooking up with random people, and you think that that's the way you're supposed to be, only to realize that there is so much power in preserving your own mystery, in having the self-respect to be the one who makes the choice, about knowing what you want and what you value and not being afraid to communicate that. Because the problem is that so many women are afraid to communicate. They assume the intentions of the other person, and then when they don't match up, they say, oh, he's a liar, he was just using me. Like, maybe you just didn't communicate what you want clearly.
One time had a man say to me, like, women have such a short time frame of like your prime years. Once you hit a certain age, like, life is over for a woman if you're not like married and have kids. Yeah. So what advice do you have for like girls our age that are like have this like internal clock going on in their heads?
It's not going to be too much advice for you because I can already see. But what do we talk about on this channel? The aesthetic. You're about playing games. You got the little shirt on, get your little bracelet, your little rings, how you do your hair like that. I can tell you're playing games. And then to top it off, what clearly gives it away is the question that you're asking. You're not ready to settle down. You want to go out there and you want to play a little bit more. You want to go get drinks. You want a nice man at the bar, a little cowboy to come up to you and say, hey, how are you? My name is Chance. Would you like to go on a date? Something of that nature. And just a whirlwind romance that you've been reading about in the books. You sit tight because apparently I assume you're going to be there for a little bit longer if you don't get your act together.
Stop listening to these bestie boys. They have a timeline too.
Well, you're going to be bald in 5 years.
Even those...
Don't care about being bald. Don't care about it at all. Because if you have money, baldness goes out the window. If you can charm a woman, baldness goes out. They don't care. That's what you keep on trying to shake. Whoa, they have a window. What's the window? Because if I have X, Y, and Z right, it's a formula for men. And if men follow the formula, bingo. Maybe you don't get Beyonce or somebody like that. Maybe you don't get, I don't need Beyonce. What I need is a beautiful woman. And I've got these prerequisites, and here comes the beautiful woman. Simple. It's simple math.
Boys, I don't want to call them men. They're just expressing what they think they know. They have zero idea what menopause is.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like,
they barely know what a period is.
We have a different journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I can tell you what I do know. I do know that regardless of whatever pause you have, I'm going to put a pause on this relationship and we're not going to get married. How about that?
Who runs the world?
Girls.
Exactly.
Let's forget about the whole if he wanted to, he would. We're living, if he won't, another man will.
As a woman in her 30s who's been in New York for 10 years, it's really hard to watch toxic men continuously date younger and younger. Why do they do that?
For single women, this is why you should always be rotational dating, aka dating
2 to 3 men at a time. As women, we get attached way too quickly, and if you only date one man, most likely ignore red flags or ignore things that you shouldn't be ignoring. When you're rotational dating, you're not sleeping with them, you're not going to their house, you're just going on dinner or activity dates to get to know one another. This is the proper way to date, to actually get to man slowly, get to know his character, allow him to respect your boundaries of not wanting to go too quickly, and see if he is the right man for you. Also, because you are dating multiple men at the same time, the man that you're dating can feel that you're not all desperate and all up in their business, so they're able to actually step in their masculine and come and chase you because they know that you're not going to be chasing them.
Incorrect. If you're not going to spend on me, get out of my DM. Do not be wasting my time. I'm not interested.
Well, there is something to be said about being upfront and honest.
I think that's all you should know. I'm very expensive. I have a very expensive taste. I'm like trying to get another cat out.
Oh my, there's at least one word for that, if not several.
So, make it make sense.
So to make it make sense in the easiest possible way, that individual sounds like they're charging for their time.
Can I be wasting my time on someone that's not spending on me? You know what I mean? Does it add up?
It kind of makes a person wonder what exactly that would add up to.
Your roster is ruining your chance at having a healthy relationship, and let me explain. 99% of the time when we have rosters, we're not honest about it. We're not telling people that we're dating 4 to 5 people other than them, because we all know that that's a turnoff. If you went up and told 90% of people that you're dating 4 to 5 people, even if they have their own roster, they're leaving. And if a roster is something that you cannot be honest about, you're already basing your relationship off of lies. Self-preserving lies. And if you think you're going to flip a switch and stop telling self-preserving lies, you're fun. My best advice for anybody who's looking to have a wholesome, healthy relationship is to date one person at a time. You don't need plan A through D. You need to give plan A your best shot. And then if plan A falls through, you find a new plan A. That's how it's supposed to work.
But that would be too much like right. That would be, oh, I have to get out here and do some more work? I have to go back out here, back to the drawing board? You mean I have to do some more thinking about what I need to do about the guy that I want? You mean I have to, like I tell men, to reflect on the relationship or the lack thereof? You mean to tell me that I have to put some actual effort into what I'm doing and the people that I'm looking for? I don't think I want to do that.
Just try it. Like, no harm, no foul. Just try it.
Curiosity, what do you expect is going to happen when you marry a 22-year-old supermodel and 8 years later, she's 30? What, are you going to cheat on her, divorce her for someone else younger? Are you going to upgrade? There really is no justification for this type of mindset. And men will say, oh, it's because women can have children after they're 30. That's also untrue. My mother had 4 children when she was 30, 31, 33, and 30.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that. They said it becomes exponentially difficult. And you know where we got that from? Science. You got it from science. It's not impossible, but it becomes difficult and you become at risk in a lot of different cases. What is that, geriatric? I think it is. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Correct me in the comments. But it's a lot more risk than if you're younger. Does that mean if you're 22 and you're supposed to be quote unquote healthy, that these things can't happen? No. Problems could arise, and a lot of times they do. In a lot of different pregnancies and a lot of different situations, stress, the environment, that whole thing. But men say to themselves, well, I just want to make sure that I'm getting the most for my investment. I'm looking for this certain thing for my life. You see, just the way you guys plan for life, so do men. We just do it in a different way and we're looking for different things. If we can get on the same page about, okay, I want this and this is the way I want to go about it. Okay. I want this and this is the way I want to go about it. Okay, we can make that work. Boom. You got a couple. That's it. I mean, people make it too complex. oh, if you got this, it's disqualification. If she got that, it's disqualification. That's not. Relax. You're going to absolutely hate some of the stuff that she does. You're going to absolutely hate some of the stuff he does. Absolutely. You're not going to like it. But you got to keep the main thing the main thing. If this person is not trying to do me wrong, yes, I don't like that. But if this person is trying to support me and fight for me and help me, and I'm attracted to him, that don't hurt either. We're going in the same direction. We're going for the same goal. We're trying to get the same thing. Let's get this money.
36, with no fertility drugs. Women do not expire like a carton of milk at 30.
I've never understood why men treat women in their 30s as if they are like the most undesirable things on the planet.
I just want to throw my 2 cents in here because I'm 34 years old and I have received more male attention than I ever have in my 20s. And the reason why is because I have my stuff together a little bit more and I'm a lot more confident and have a sense of self, and people respond to that. So there are going to be some guys that prefer women in their 20s, and that's okay. But you're still going to be desirable to men. It's just that you're going to be attracting a different demographic when you enter your 30s, not the old demographic that you attracted, because you're not the same person.
And what were you doing with that old demographic is what I want to know. What were you up to back in those days? Madam, let me know.
You used to be. So I just wanted to throw that out there. You are absolutely beautiful and welcome to the 30s club, girl.
As an extremely independent woman that loves to make her own money, I still think men should pay on the first date, and this is why. This is just my opinion, and you do not have to agree with it. And I'm not talking about long-term, because I think long-term it is necessary for both parties to participate in order to create a healthy, long-lasting relationship, which is what me and my boyfriend do. But for me, if I'm going on a date with you, I'm getting an idea of who you are as a person to potentially see you as long-term potential or a long-term partner. And as a female, no matter how independent or like boss lady you are, you want this feeling of protection and security. It is this instinctual thing within our heart and being. So when someone wants me to pay for it or split it on that first date, it immediately gives me this sense that I can't let my walls all the way down. And that might not resonate with someone, but as someone that constantly has to operate a lot from my masculine energy, I want to be with someone that can allow my feminine energy to come out. Which I also take responsibility that I have to be the one to also allow myself to do that. But there are certain environments which will make that easier, that being one of them. And just on top of that, I think kind of a rule of thumb is like, you asked her. I think it's fair to say, like, if she asked you, it might be a little bit different. And of course, every situation.
But you guys got to quit saying this. You guys got to quit saying this. This is absolutely stupid. This is absolutely stupid, because even if a woman asks the man on a date, hey, can I get your number? That's her asking him out. I want to talk to you. She initiated it, okay? And so the next thing is her wanting him to ask her on a date. And guess who's going to pay? He is. So you got to stop using that argument about, well, you asked. Stupid, you wanted to be asked. I can see your other points, and I'm not talking about you in specifically. I'm just talking about the argument. I think it's dumb. This is the way you can't say, I'm not going to ask, or it's just not going to happen. And he wasn't man enough to ask me. And I meant, well, I don't want to be obligated. I don't want to feel obligated to pay. Well, you asked me. They use it as a tool, as a sword. Well, you asked me, so you got to pay. Okay, well, if you're going to make me do that, I just won't ask. I'll back off, because I expect somebody to help me out. I expect somebody to at least offer. I expect somebody, especially in this, maybe if it was back in the day, yeah, but especially in today's day and time, I expect somebody to reciprocate. You don't necessarily have to pay, but I want to know that you're interested. I want to know that you have some skin in the game, or you're willing to put some skin in the game before I just go crazy and start spending on you like that. So quit using this argument of, well, you asked a girl, so you gotta know. You the one that want to be asked. You are looking for a man to ask you. I'm looking for somebody to ask. You looking to be asked. Let's be partners. Hey, I paid. You get the tip. Okay, I can do that. I can see, okay, on the first date, Okay, on the second date, man, let me do it. It's my treat. Let me do something. Give that man something. It's not against the rules to bring this man something, a little something on the second date. My God, you guys got to get out your own way.
Is different, but I guess that's kind of how I feel, just like baseline.
Women in their 20s who are afraid of getting older. I was once you. I was once her. But as a 35-year-old woman, I can honestly tell you that things get better and better. She's commenting on a video where we talk about the dating pool and how it shrinks the older that you get as a woman. And that is true, but it's not because women are expiring. Women are so much more than the guys that we're with. Or the
coping mechanism, cope, coping hard. All you're doing is coping. Cope. It's coping here. It must be some copers in the atmosphere. You're coping. Yep, you're coping. You're coping, ma'am. You need to get that fixed. You need to get that taken care of. We're losing men, but it's not because they're not interested. It's because they can't handle us. Is that so? What else you got for me? I can't handle you. I don't want to handle you. I don't want to be bothered. I just don't. And you're going to take that and run with it. Boy, you're intimidated. Whatever you need to do in order to get yourself through this life, I guess it's fair. You're a free person. You're a free woman. You can do whatever you want. But the reality of the situation in a lot of different circumstances is the man don't want you. You're insufferable. You can have your accolades and accomplishments. The man don't want to be bothered with you. You're not a nice person.
guys that are attracted to us. And I know that runs counter to what our society tells us, and that is by design to keep women under control. But let me tell you this, life gets better. Your friendships will get better because you're more secure with who you are. You'll understand what you want out of life and you'll get it. You'll stop being so insecure, which is ironic.
But what about the men? What about the men? We're not talking about friendships getting better. We're talking about men not approaching. We're talking about men not wanting to date. Great that you have friends, a better career, a nicer dog, more dogs. But what about dating?
So hard to want to date when there's one person you want. Because I don't like anyone else.
Listen to this. Right? Again, it's different for men. Because if a guy is progressing in himself, in his life, in his career, in his steps, right? Him getting older, right? He has the option to choose the girl that he was just going to fool around with, or to choose the more, if he's looking for like a family traditional sense. He also has that option now too.
Simply, men increase in value over time, whilst women decrease in value.
Whoa. No, that's fair. No, that's fair.
He cold.
Here's why dating is so much harder for a woman than a man.
Girl, it's not. Dating is much harder for men. And here are a few reasons why. 1, women want men to initiate. Automatically, this makes it more difficult for men. You're telling me that you just get to sit back and select from men, while men have to bravely spark a conversation out of midair, and somehow that's easier for him? Yeah. No. Number 2, female standards are sky high. Men don't require much to fall in love. If you take care of yourself and you're just pleasant to be around, they will crawl over broken glass for you. But guys have to make a certain amount of money, be a certain height, have immense charisma. You get the point. And number 3, our culture hates men. Masculinity is vilified in our society, and thus men are viewed with preconceived notions that women simply don't have to deal with. And that's something that has to change.
And the fact of the matter is, they don't want to hear that. They're not interested in that because that would be too much like right. That would be the truth. They would have to get out of their own way and say, well, I guess it's not as difficult for me as I thought it was. All of this nonsense that I'm talking about, maybe a man does actually have a hard life. Maybe it is actually hard for a man to do certain things. Maybe now knowing that, I might have to have some sympathy and empathy for a man. And I might too have to be emotionally available and emotionally intelligent and have some sympathy and empathy for him. Imagine that. But these modern women don't want to do that because they want to remain in their whole delusional land filled with modern women logic. But that's just my opinion. Until the next video, I'm out.